Hello, it's Sufis here, and today I want to do a personal take on the best ideas and designs for the new MMO Riot is making. Riot is known for copying ideas and making it just so much better. So I want to dive into the existing MMOs to find some potential gems that Riot eventually can use in their new MMO. Also keep in mind that this video is purely subjective perception and that it's my opinion, so it's not a fact. As a long-time consumer of the genre, I want to pick out the best features and designs ever created in MMOs. So grab yourself a strong coffee and let's jump into the video. Okay, the first MMO I want to talk about is old school RuneScape. This game is a browser game made in 2004 based in the Java engine, and it's still one of the most played MMOs in histories. If I had to pick one design that really stands out in this game, it is freedom of choice. It feels like a sandbox game based in a theme park world. RuneScape does a great job in combining those elements into one MMO. The skill system plays a huge role in this. Basically, you have the freedom to train any skill at any time. That is, in my opinion, a great feature. Every skill feels like a genuine addition to the game. The leveling up and the journey itself is a huge part of the game. Getting those sweet dopamine rushes from leveling up and unlocking new weapons has never felt so rewarding in any other MMO, and I think the depth and freedom of the skill system is a huge factor in this. So fun fact, the skill system is originally designed to never be finished. In today's standards, with the min-max culture and the fact that everything in the game is discovered, that seems an impossible design. But after all those years, RuneScape really showed us how freedom of choice is one of the most fun parts in MMOs. I'm going to add one more thing to this game, and that is the developer's close relationship to the player base. They play the game themselves and they interact with the player base like no other developer, and this shows in the game. I genuinely feel like the devs really try to listen to the players, and that is in today's standards really a precious thing to cherish. Okay, up to the next game, The Elder Scrolls Online. I have a bit of a strange experience myself with this game. It had one of the roughest launches in MMO history as far as I can remember, and for a matter of fact it came out with a subscription-based model, so the barrier to entry was really high for me. I remember I was super excited about this when they first spilled beans about this massive project. The Elder Scrolls Online, it was a perfect match. My favorite RPG series into a massive multiplayer online game. Well, how wrong I was. The launch of this game was the worst experience of my gaming career ever. I was so devastated that I immediately stopped my subscription and I cried for hours in the corner of my room. Anyway, that aside, the game changed over the years and it became one of the giants of the MMO industry. The most attractive part of this MMO is the IP and its storytelling. All the quest givers, literally every quest giver, had a voice actor, and that is a very unique feature in the MMO industry. In my opinion, Elder Scrolls really shines in the deliverance of storytelling. It doesn't feel like you are forced into the story, it feels like a natural happening of events, and while a lot of people don't like the fact that they are the chosen champion that will save the world from total destruction, while running around with thousands of other players doing the same thing, yeah, that's kind of immersion breaking in my opinion. But Elder Scrolls Online does it in a very clever way. It feels like it would be possible for other champions to do the same thing without breaking the immersion in the story. So ESO, great story, beautiful designed quests, and a massive IP to dive into. Okay, next games. Guild Wars 1 and Guild Wars 2. These games combined, I spent the most time in MMOs, period. I started way back in 2004 when the first game, Guild Wars Prophecies, launched. I think I was about 11 years old at the time, and online gaming without subscription fees was its main selling point. I remember everyone was playing WoW at the time, and I was the kid that didn't get a credit card from my parents, so I had to play a free game. So I saved up some money, I bought myself a copy of the game, and I loved it so much very quickly. I discovered my passion for PvP and arenas. And this was, in my opinion, where the game really shines. The combat in the game is so genius and in depth. It felt like a strategy game of timing and reaction, rotation knowledge, class combination synergy. I felt like a little Einstein when destroying other players' health bars. The skills in PvP were also separated from the PvE part of the game, so it always felt like it was pretty balanced. Okay, so from Guild Wars 1 we go to Guild Wars 2. And oh boy, I was so excited when this game came out in 2012. I spent already so much time on Guild Wars 1 that Guild Wars 2 was the game that was going to be my game. No doubt, bro, this game will crush WoW. Well, that of course didn't happen, but it has some really interesting features and ideas. For example, the quest system was designed as dynamic player activity events that ended into large-scale world bosses. So every leveling zone ended into an end boss, like a raid, but then just in the open world. And then the first expansion came out, Heart of Thorns, where they implemented one of the best systems in the industry to this day, the Mastery system. This is a leveling system tied to interaction with the world, so you explore, do tasks and unique objectives to put those mastery points into skills that unlock different ways to explore the map, and in return you unlock different parts of the map. A very interesting system. The best part of that system was, in my opinion, mounts. In Guild Wars 2, mounts are not just mounts to travel faster in the world. Mounts unlock a vertical way to explore the map, and your mounts have different skills that you can use while riding them. In my opinion, that is the coolest thing ever. In this way, mounts are not just a reskin of a speed boost, but an interactive entity with a whole leveling system in it. Even WoW is now implementing this with their newest expansion, Dragonflight. So Guild Wars 2 Mastery system and leveling up mounts with skills. It's clever and genius, and I think a lot of MMOs in the future will implement the same system. Okay, next game in line, Final Fantasy XIV Online. Okay, this one will be a collection of features because it does a lot of things really well in my opinion. The first thing that comes to my mind when I think of Final Fantasy XIV is the grand overlapping story through all the expansions. You can see that the developers really want to tell a grand story at epic scale. Final Fantasy is a strong IP and it goes hand in hand with the MMO genre. If I had to pick one feature that really jumps out, it would be the story. But that's just one thing, and I love story and I'm a nerd, I'm a lore nerd. So there are many good implementations of classic systems. I won't go over all of them because I want to keep it as short as possible. The second feature or design that I really like is the ability to take a break from the game and play another game. Come back and enjoy again. No daily grinds, no fallbacks, no running to get back to the game. And that is so important to me in today's boost culture and daily grind until you're blind bullshit systems. It doesn't feel like they want you to grind this game non-stop. And that's a good thing in my opinion. A lot of players want this to be their full-time job, and that's not, in my opinion, what gaming is about. I think most of the people that really like MMOs are in their late 20s anyway, so we have a life. We don't like to grind your games non-stop without taking a break. We don't like to be forced to get everything maxed out. And no, we clearly don't like paid passes to catch up. I want to take my own time to get there and enjoy the process as much as possible. And I think Final Fantasy XIV really gets this aspect right. Okay, last game in the ranks, World of Warcraft. The King of Kings, the MMO that MMO junks played at least once in their lifetime. The king that got corrupted by greed and eventually got dethroned. The game that I enjoyed the most of all MMOs. I started my journey back in 2008, and I think at that time it was the peak of WoW, and the Wrath of the Lich King expansion just dropped. Okay, I'm going to make it short because I can feel a sour taste in my mouth coming and almost have to throw up from the PTSD symptoms. The best thing in WoW was in the past a combination of a lot of things, but I think what WoW really did well is the feeling of you need to play together to accomplish your goals with your friends. It is easy to create a community when leveling or raiding or doing dungeons is a hard thing to do, or even it is impossible to do alone. WoW created communities and guilds. Yeah, the gear treadmill is fun too, but I think the most fun was in the feeling of belonging to a community, belonging to a guild. And I think other MMOs do kind of the same, but it doesn't matter so much as it did with WoW, because the content was much harder and it felt like you really needed other players to do that content. That is also the reason why I play MMOs, coming together and fighting against monsters in the world. It's a very basic system that a lot of MMOs today forget, with group finders and everything becomes automated. It's like just a random slot machine. We don't want slot machines in MMOs. The real world is already like that. We want organic growth and a strong feeling of belonging to a group. Or at least that's why I play MMOs. Maybe that's not your reason. Maybe you want to play alone on your own. That's fine. But there are better games, in my opinion, on the market to play alone. Go play some action adventure games then. The core of a massive multiplayer online game is community. And that's also my last feature for this video. So a quick recap. What I really love about RuneScape is the skill system. What I love about ESO is the quest system. Guild Wars 1 PvP for sure. The arena battle modes were so much fun. Guild Wars 2, the leveling system and the mastery system. And Final Fantasy XIV's epic grand story, overarching through many expansions. WoW for sure, creating of the community in correlation to dungeons and raiding. I agree that this list can feel a little bit incomplete with the quite recent releases of newer MMOs like Lost Ark and New World, but I wanted to emphasize on the long-term giants that are already ruling the genre for some years now. I just wonder, what is your favorite system or design in MMOs? Drop a comment and let's start a conversation. Also, if you like this content, please hit the like button and subscribe to this channel. That would mean the world to me. Thank you so much for watching.